Welcome folks to the first video in our Power Profile series, and we're starting off with Genryūsai Shigekuni Yamamoto because he's one of my top 5 favorite characters, and I think this is a good place to start. So, let's go. Power Profile. Genryūsai Shigekuni Yamamoto is without a doubt one of the most powerful characters in the series, and by far his full and true power is the stuff of legend, even in his own world. Tite Kubo performed a masterful job of showing us the scale and majesty of his power, but we never actually get to see it in its fully unrestrained glory. The databook claims that he possesses the title of the strongest in each of the 4 arts of combat. The 2 most powerful villains in the series chose not to fight the man head-on, and instead chose stand-ins to either wear him down or seal away his capabilities. They did not solely do this because of his power, but because of what it represents. Yamamoto wasn't lying when he said, Yamamoto is the living embodiment of the Soul Society itself, and today we are here to pay respect to the god of fire and ash himself, Base Yamamoto. Zanjutsu. As the founder of the Shino Academy and a teacher of Zanjutsu and Kendo, Yamamoto is the most powerful swordsman in Soul Society and only rivaled by the 8,000 sword style herself, Yachiro Unohana. Their positions in regard to sword talent is contentious, but seeing as Yamamoto bestowed her the title of Kenpachi, I'm okay leaving it to her. You're welcome, Raid. Few would hope to come out alive from a fight with old man or even young man Yamamoto. Yamamoto fought 2 of the strongest captain-level Shinigami in history, Shunsui Kyoraku and Jushiro Ukitake, simultaneously, and at the end of the fight, he was unscathed. His one-armed sword stroke overpowered both of their strikes at the same time at the start of this fight. You could downplay this by saying Yamamoto trained both of them in sword technique, but Shunsui's family are known for their martial skill, so there are techniques that he has that doesn't come from Yamamoto. He has used multiple weapons-based techniques in the series, one of which was Hitotsume Nadagiri, a precise cut of extreme force and speed. The opponent is killed with one swift slash. This style of swordsmanship is known as Ieido. Ieido is a Japanese martial art that encompasses hundreds of styles and emphasizes being aware and capable of quickly drawing the sword and responding to sudden attacks. Ieido consists of 4 main components: the smooth, controlled movements of drawing the sword from its scabbard, striking or cutting an opponent, shaking the blood from the blade, and replacing the sword in the scabbard. This takes years of kata training to be so precise, quick, and destructive. So he is a master swordsman. Onibi. Yamamoto takes his Zanpakuto in its sealed cane form and thrusts it at his opponent, punching a large hole in their body. This technique blew a hole in Ion, who has Hiedo, which is an iron skin ability, and the creature itself had the body frame of a large building. Hakuda and physical strength. Despite his advanced age crippling his body, and even without his Zanpakuto, Yamamoto is without a doubt one of the most terrifying combatants to confront. A highly skilled and dangerous being of over 2,100 years of age. This has given him experience. He has had ample time to master hand-to-hand combat before he ever wielded a sword or his Zanpakuto. His martial skill with his body rivals what he can do with a sword. Young Yamamoto, as revealed in Can't Fear World Volume 3, without a Zanpakuto, fought in hand-to-hand combat with Ikomiki Domoe, a hollow whose power surpassed that of the Vasto Lorde-class Menos, and a body larger than a Gillian-class Menos. Despite what people say, the passage in which this battle takes place never stated Yamamoto lost this encounter, but that simply Ichibei and Oetsu needed to step in to seal the creature due to its uncontrollable growth. He effortlessly caught a strike from the deceptively fast Ion, who was previously physically laying waste to multiple lieutenants and even those with captain-level potential like Hisagi, Izuru, and Iba. Yamamoto can deliver powerful blows which can smash through a Spada-level hero, which we know at their very weakest is harder than steel. Yamamoto has blocked, parried, and dodged punches from a multi-armed opponent like Wonder Weiss, and in the process, torn those arms clean from its body. This is a being who is capable of hurting Yamamoto, and in Bleach, you have to be at least low-end relative to a person's SP to do this. This shows that despite being powerful himself, Wonder Weiss stood no chance in physical strength against Yamamoto. He was also able to deflect and redirect a sneak attack from said monster while he was in the motion of attacking Aizen. Yamamoto has performed multiple techniques from the Hakuda tree of combat. Ikotsu, which is called single bone. It's a powerful punch used by Yamamoto against Wonder Weiss. When he used this technique, Yamamoto destroyed much of Wonder Weiss's abdomen and sent him flying across the city, destroying multiple city blocks. It actually nearly killed the monster. After Wonder Weiss regenerated, he used Sokotsu, double bone. This is an attack stronger than Ikotsu. It's a powerful two-fisted punch that completely destroyed Wonder Weiss to the point its high-speed regeneration was rendered useless. This form of striking is called a C-punch, which can be found in some forms of Wing Chun and Taekwondo, which are real martial arts in our world. Yamamoto was strong enough to draw blood from and restrain Sosuke Aizen, a character who is relative to him, and at the very least is as twice as strong as a captain class fighter, and Yamamoto did this with just one arm. This is really crazy, seeing as Aizen himself has blocked the main character Ichigo Kurosaki's Tensa Zangetsu with his bare hands not once, but twice. And he destroyed Kokujo Tengen Myo with one sword swing, so Aizen isn't a physical pushover. Yamamoto was physically capable of catching Halic File, or projectiles made of spirit energy, with his fingertips and crushing them with ease. In this case, he did so against an opponent who was capable of defeating Kenpachi Zaraki with his bare hands. Kenpachi Zaraki himself is no slouch, and aside from the oldest captains, he was the strongest fighter for the Soul Reapers. Yamamoto's physical strength is shown to us exclusively as an old man, and is shown to be peerless even in advanced age. So I can only imagine the sheer destruction that he could cause with his fists alone as a younger man. Kidō. Impressively, Yamamoto does not have many Kidō feats, but what he does have is delightfully impressive. Yamamoto can cast low-level Kidō without even saying their invocation, name, or number. Yamamoto has only ever used one named Hado, and that was supremely powerful Hado number 96 Itokaso. Itokaso is a forbidden technique that requires a user to sacrifice a portion or all of their body to perform, and Yamamoto did it without a chant, which is terrifying. Despite no chant, it kept its destructive power and shape, which is not supposed to happen. Even Aizen, a Kidō master, needed to use a chant to even perform a complete Hado number 90 Kurohitsugi before his imprisonment and maturation of the technique later, obviously. If you want to go by the anime canon, then Yamamoto is just truly a monster in Kidō who may be unrivaled. He was capable of putting up a barrier that was only broken by a full-powered version 2 mask-on Black Getsuga Tencho from Ichigo. This barrier not only kept out captain-level Zanpakuto spirits, but negated Zanpakuto's special abilities like Muramasa's Zanpakuto manipulation. He also created a seal called Shiso Keppu, which could seal away powerful beings who were uniquely dangerous, not unlike Kisuke's own created Kidō spell he used on Aizen. Shunpo and combat speed. Yamamoto is highly proficient in the art of Shunpo. He hawked down Shunsui Kyoraku and Jushiro Hukutake, who had a lead on him during a chase across the Seirete. He overtook both captains and arrived at their destination first without even being noticed by them. Yamamoto easily outpaced Aion and Wonder Weiss, and both are Espada level threats, meaning they are stronger than your average captain class Soul Reaper. Wonder Weiss specifically was made to fight Yamamoto, and he couldn't outpace him. There isn't a single character in the series shown to outpace Yamamoto. He has kept up and perceived characters he's fighting, and even characters who are supposed to be strong enough to defeat him. At his advanced age, his speed should be taking a drastic hit, and his ability to keep pace over a distance should be hindered. But it's just not. Unfortunately, we haven't seen him perform any of the ho-ho techniques. But honestly, I think it'd be weird that he couldn't perform those techniques, seeing he probably invented them, and he's known about them for hundreds of years. The one time we thought one character may have outpaced him, in actuality it was just Yamamoto goading Aizen into stabbing him so that he could catch him. Spirit pressure and experience. Being the most experienced Shinigami, Yamamoto possesses an extremely massive and powerful Ryoku. Its sheer strength is powerful enough to effortlessly induce fear in captain-level combatants and can physically paralyze and choke combatants of lieutenant level and lower simply by gazing in their direction. Yamamoto's spiritual pressure, like all powerful spiritual pressures in the series, creates a sensation or effect, and Yamaji's tends to glow with a fiery aura, which has the potential to burn and set his surroundings on fire without the use of his Zanpakuto, and at max strength, it contains the destructive capability of his Zanpakuto. When Yamamoto is enraged, his Reiatsu is powerful enough to be felt all around Seirete with tremendous force. The Seirete itself is actually the size of a country. Even Aizen openly acknowledges Yamamoto's power as being so superior that if he were to fight toe-to-toe, Aizen would be overpowered. There is one particular feat that isn't attributed to anyone specifically during the start of FKT, but it is probably Yamamoto, and that's soul-crushing hollows from 13 miles away, or 20.9 kilometers for our non-USA people. We know this is a directed soul crush because the little girl, Soul herself, was unharmed despite running into the range of the ability. Intellect. Centuries and centuries of experience as a teacher and warrior, along with being the captain commander of the Gotei 13, Yamamoto is very intelligent. He is seemingly unfazed by quick developments and makes quick decisions. He has a great strategical mind, proven by his preparations for the battle in the Fate Karakura town. His tactics are sly and decisive. As noted by Aizen, Yamamoto is very cunning, setting up a trap to kill him while Aizen was focused on the Visored and the rest of the Gotei. The most impressive was Yamamoto overcoming Aizen's Kyoka Suigetsu and Kanzo Saimin ability by basically goading Aizen into stabbing him so that he could differentiate between the Zanpakuto and Aizen to make sure that he had the real Aizen. That is highly impressive to overcome Sosuke Aizen in a battle of intelligence. Durability and endurance. Yamamoto's durability is on an insane level. Yamamoto's body wears his durability like a badge of honor. His body is covered head to toe in scars from a millennia of battle. His durability took a hit as told to us through the data book, but even still, very few characters have Yamamoto's durability. He lured Aizen in by letting him stab him, and he didn't so much as flinch from this and drew blood from Aizen by grabbing that same arm. He took a machine gun amount of punches from Wonder Weiss's multiple arms and came out completely unfazed and barely marked, despite Wonder Weiss showing he was capable of hurting him. Yamamoto used his own body to contain the collective flames that was held inside Wonder Weiss and reduced it basically to a small crater. This blast contained the power of a Netsuji Goku, a saved up fire blast from his Shikai, and the blast from a sword swing from his Shikai. This would have had the power to reduce FKT, the specialized barrier, and the area surrounding FKT to ashes. What's more impressive is his endurance allowed him to push through the pain of that and properly cast a high-level Forbidden Kidō with no chant when half his body was charged to the point of being useless. This technique required Yamamoto to blow up his own arm and survive the attack even after being massively compromised. He also challenged Chojuro, his future lieutenant and captain-class fighter, to defeat him with his newly achieved Bankai, and in the end, he only suffered a scar on his forehead from a Bankai. Later, he would take on a barrage of powerful lightning strikes from Chojuro's fully mastered version, from a captain-level Stern Ritter Driscoll Bursey, and ate every single one of those strikes with extremely light, superficial damage. He can easily deflect a giant Halic file from a Stern Ritter with one hand and crush it with no damage to his fingers. Even after being cut into two pieces by Yuha, Yamamoto was instinctively fighting and managed to grab onto Yuha's cloak. Yamamoto on several occasions has resisted and restrained his own power and heat, which in its Shikai, it's well over 2500 degrees, and all the way up to his Bankai, which reaches the temperature of the sun. His Bankai was said to passively be able to destroy the Soul Society, and Yamamoto had to fight while restraining that power, showing his endurance. Yamamoto literally only stops when he's dead, a true god of Soul Reapers. Moving on to his Zanpakuto power, Shikai. When released, the blade of Ryujin Jaka is engulfed in fire. The release of his Zanpakuto comes with an extreme release of Reiatsu, affecting everything in the area, and it can be felt for miles upon miles across the Seirete, and at the very least a city away, as confirmed by Shuhei. The power of his weapon incinerates everything and anything which Yamamoto waves the sword at, converting it to ash. It engulfs the surrounding landscape in a firestorm, the heat of which is intense enough to scorch everything. Only the most powerful fighters can resist the passive heat of it. Even in its Shikai, Ryujin Jaka is powerful enough to fight against the Shikai of two other captains simultaneously, both of whom had the reputation of being the strongest captains while fighting together, and both were in Shikai, and his Shikai has shown the capability to compete with a Bankai. It has a plethora of abilities that I don't need to necessarily go into. His flames can be manipulated in a plethora of ways. It can create prisons that lock away 3 captain-class fighters securely. The flames have outright completely erased in a Spada level being like Ion. A weaker version of that attack completely incapacitated 3 lieutenant-level fighters. The flames push 2 captain-class fighters back, who when fighting together are unstoppable. His Shikai power's sheer power and versatility could overcome a power that can control someone's perception. Aizen had to spend over a century developing hollows that can affect Zanpakuto solely to stop Yamamoto's Ryujin Jaka. His flames are so destructive that cities with even a casual wave of power are just reduced to nothing. Bankai. Zanka no Tachi. In its Bankai, the blade takes the form of an ancient and worn katana that looks burnt. Upon activation, any flames previously produced by Ryujin Jaka are absorbed into the blade. Zanka no Tachi incorporates the full power of Yamamoto's flames into the blade. The flames within the blade burn anything it cuts out of existence. Zanka no Tachi, just by existing, reduces the moisture in the air and water and causes it to dry up. Even Toshiro Hitsugai's Bankai, Daigyo, and Hyorimaru cannot be used because its ice melts due to the intense heat and because of the moisture basically going away. Yamamoto claims releasing his Bankai clads both his blade and his body in the flames of the sun, but that no one can see it unless Yama himself makes it visible, which gives this crazy, powerful Bankai a sneaky ability. Even Retsu Unohana believes that Zanka no Tachi's flames could incinerate the entirety of Soul Society if left active for too long. It has 4 different main capabilities. East. This is activated the moment the Bankai is. It concentrates the flames to the edge of the blade, erasing whatever it cuts, and even defense-enhancing abilities are rendered useless. The heat will destroy any bonds that matter has, thus making everything cuttable. West. The ability is also activated upon the activation of the Bankai. It clads the user in the same flames as the sword, giving it an ultimate defense as powerful as its offense. Zanka no Tachi South. Turns the ash part of its design into one of the most morbid and terrifying abilities in the series. Using the ashes collected from the bones of the Zanpakuto's charred and slain enemies, Yamamoto summons them back to fight on his behalf as an army of undead, truly making him a god of death. This ability always leaves me speechless. He can even call specific people to fight for him if he so chooses, giving him a psychological edge over opponents if he can find someone that they knew. The sheer number of bodies in this ability can overwhelm the strongest Quincy defensive spell, Sankt Swinger. North. The extended long swing version of East. This basically gives East a longer cutting range, like a Getsuga Tensho. The scariest part is what we see from this is that Yamamoto was holding back this power, so imagine how destructive this could be. Summary. Taking into account Genryūsai Shigekuni Yamamoto's power, I can only bestow him the rank of S tier. Don't believe the hype. The majority of characters did not cliff this man. Even Can't Fear Your Own World confirms none of the major players have surpassed Old Man Yama's power. There are only a handful of people that we will do these for later that will be above him, and they will be given the designation of Soul King tier. This is the top of S tier, period. The scariest bit of scaling Yamamoto's power is that he's kind of weird. Younger him might have been more physically powerful, but older Yamamoto's Bankai and Kidō abilities age like fine wine, so there's a clear trade-off of power for technique. But I don't think his rank would change either way, and there's one major reason. Yamamoto fought and defeated an almighty Yuha in his younger years. Yuha had the power of the Almighty before his invasion of the Soul Society. It was most likely not the complete version we see against Ichigo Kurosaki, but it's probably not dissimilar to the one we see Jugrim utilize. Yamamoto put that Yuha in a body bag before his Bankai matured into stages. What's scarier is Yamamoto's passive existence would have destroyed Soul Society, and this came from a reliable statement by Unohana, someone with first-hand knowledge of his Bankai, and this isn't even him trying to destroy the world, this is him not trying to. He is not country or multi-continental level, but he is planetary, whether people want to accept that or not. We have multi-continental characters like Ukiura, who wouldn't be able to even cut Yamamoto, let alone approach him in Bankai. His flames are the heat of a star, for goodness sake. He could hurtle into the planet in Bankai if he wanted to and destroy it. Multiple sources throughout Bleach and its data books let us know that Soul Society itself, as a whole, is universe-sized. It mirrors the world of the living. It is not infinite, don't let anyone tell you that. One of the biggest indicators isn't even the stars we see in Soul Society. but a world-building tidbit from the Lost Agent arc. Injo informs us that everything has a soul. Matter itself has a soul, and that's what Fullbringers draw on with their power bestowed to them by the Soul King. If the worlds mirrored each other, that means that the matter that constitutes the world of the living must exist in the Soul Society to keep balance. And these are actual souls and not reishi. We know that because Fullbringers don't pull on reishi like Quincy do, they pull on actual souls. This is backed up by Fullbringers subjugating other souls like Execution did to Hisagi and many others. So on a lowball, the destruction of Soul Society statement could mean just a planet. And they're not talking about Sarete because she would have said Sarete because they're not the same. But a highball would put him in the universe destroying range. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. Let me know what you think, and if you want more videos like these, remember, like and subscribe, leave a comment, and join the Discord where you can rank up and become a captain in my Discord, under my rule, of course. Let's see if we can also catch up with Captain Havoc. Our brother is close to 5K, so go subscribe there if you haven't already. Love y'all. Have a good day. Bye.